Getting goosebumps is one of those little quirks of the human body that seem mysterious, yet the reasons behind it are deeply rooted in our evolutionary history. It's something that happens without us thinking about it, often triggered by a sudden rush of emotion, a shift in temperature, or even when we're moved by music or a powerful moment. The scientific explanation behind goosebumps is tied to our body's fight or flight response, a remnant of our ancestors' need for survival. But to fully understand why we get goosebumps, we have to first explore the fascinating interplay between biology, psychology, and evolution that makes this simple physical reaction so meaningful. Goosebumps occur when tiny muscles at the base of each hair follicle, known as erector pili muscles, contract, causing the hair to stand upright. This reaction is often called piloerection. These little muscles are controlled by the autonomic nervous system, which is responsible for involuntary actions in our body, such as heartbeat and breathing. When the body perceives something startling, exciting, or cold, the sympathetic nervous system kicks in, preparing the body for action, like a heightened state of alertness. This physical reaction is meant to make us appear larger or more threatening to a potential predator. Imagine a wild animal with its fur or feathers standing on end. It's a sign of aggression or fear, a signal to others that the creature is ready to defend itself or is in a state of heightened awareness. In humans, however, this instinctual response has become somewhat redundant, as we no longer rely on it for survival in the same way our ancestors did. But the story doesn't end there. Goosebumps also happen when we experience extreme emotions, like awe, fear, or excitement. The sensation of goosebumps can be triggered by a powerful piece of music, an emotional scene in a movie, or even just thinking about something that gives us chills. The emotional reaction is often tied to the release of chemicals like adrenaline and dopamine, which play roles in how we experience pleasure, fear, and excitement. When the brain is overwhelmed with strong emotions, the body sometimes reacts in ways that mirror past experiences. These emotions are linked to the primal parts of our brain, which are responsible for emotional regulation and the ability to react quickly to the environment. Interestingly, the reasons behind why we get goosebumps during moments of awe or connection to something greater than ourselves can also be tied to the body's attempt to make sense of complex stimuli. When we're faced with something beautiful, unexpected, or powerful like a piece of art, music, or an incredible performance, the body responds with goosebumps as a way of processing that profound emotional impact. This happens because the brain releases neurotransmitters that affect the skin's sensory nerves, creating that iconic tingling sensation that results in the small hair standing on end. There's another aspect of this phenomenon worth mentioning: the relationship between goosebumps and temperature regulation. One of the earliest evolutionary functions of piloerection was to conserve heat. When cold, the hair on the body would stand up, trapping a layer of air close to the skin to act as insulation. In animals with thick fur or feathers, this is still an effective way to maintain warmth. In humans, however, the amount of hair on our bodies is far less, and as a result, this function is much less significant. But the remnants of this survival mechanism still appear in the form of goosebumps when we experience a chill or a sudden temperature drop. While we're on the topic of the connection between emotions and physical reactions, it's also interesting to explore how the experience of goosebumps can sometimes be connected to a social or empathetic response. When we observe someone else feeling deeply moved, such as witnessing another person's intense emotion, our own bodies may mimic this response. This is part of the deep social connection that humans share, often referred to as empathy. Our capacity to feel the emotions of others, to resonate with their feelings, can trigger a similar physical reaction in our own bodies. It's as though we are so attuned to the emotional states of those around us that our body physically echoes their feelings. This bond between humans, rooted in our social instincts, is yet another layer to the phenomenon of goosebumps. Another fascinating theory behind why we get goosebumps is that they could be tied to the idea of evolutionary communication. Just as animals puff up their fur or feathers to make themselves appear larger or more threatening, humans may have retained this response as a way of signaling their emotional or psychological state to others. In moments of fear or excitement, when our bodies are flooded with adrenaline, the heightened state of arousal could have been a way of making others in our group more aware of a potential danger, or to signal that we are experiencing a highly emotional or charged situation. This might have played a role in how our ancestors communicated with each other, even in non-verbal ways. The subtle signals our bodies send through physical reactions, like goosebumps, may have been critical to our survival. Moreover, goosebumps seem to be closely tied to the brain's ability to process emotional responses. The brain is an incredible organ, capable of processing vast amounts of information every second. When we experience a moment of emotional intensity, whether it's joy, fear, or even a sense of awe, the brain activates a network of pathways that trigger both chemical and physical reactions in the body. These signals travel through the nervous system, culminating in the familiar sensation of goosebumps. So, in essence, goosebumps are like a physical manifestation of our emotional world, a reminder that our minds and bodies are deeply interconnected. Interestingly, not everyone experiences goosebumps in the same way. For some, goosebumps are a rare occurrence, triggered only by extreme emotional stimuli, while for others, it can happen more easily, perhaps when listening to music, watching a movie, or hearing a certain phrase. Research suggests that this variability could be connected to personality traits, like how deeply people tend to process emotions, or how sensitive they are to sensory stimuli. Some people may have a heightened sensitivity to these kinds of emotional or physical triggers, which results in them experiencing goosebumps more frequently. Others might have a more subdued response, experiencing the sensation less often or not at all. This diversity in reactions is part of what makes human behavior so complex and fascinating. In addition to personal sensitivity, the cultural context in which we experience goosebumps also plays a role. For example, the concept of chills down the spine has been a part of various cultures for centuries, often linked to supernatural or spiritual experiences. In some cases, goosebumps are thought to be a sign that something transcendent or otherworldly is happening, while in others, they are seen as a sign of a deep emotional connection to something greater than ourselves. These interpretations of the physical sensation can vary widely depending on cultural beliefs, individual experiences, and the emotional context in which they occur. To put it all together, the phenomenon of getting goosebumps is a rich tapestry of evolutionary biology, emotional response, and personal experience. It's a reminder that even the smallest of physical reactions can be deeply intertwined with the stories of our past and the complexities of our present emotional lives. Whether we're facing a cold breeze, listening to a moving piece of music, or simply experiencing a moment of profound emotional intensity, goosebumps are there to remind us of the deep connection between our physical bodies and the invisible world of our feelings, instincts, and memories. In many ways, the sensation of goosebumps is a symbol of the beautiful complexity of the human experience. It's not just a quirk of the body, it's a window into our evolutionary history, a clue to the inner workings of our brains, and a physical reminder that we are deeply attuned to the world around us. Goosebumps are a reflection of who we are, what we've been through, and how we continue to navigate the complex, emotional landscape of life. They are as much a part of us as our thoughts and feelings, and they serve as a reminder that, despite how far we've come from our primal ancestors, we are still deeply connected to the forces of nature that shape our lives. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing content. Hit the bell icon to stay updated on our latest videos.